Welcome back everyone. We're going to continue with 5.4 rational equations, gebroken vergelijkingen. And we're going to start theory B off with exercise 41, which we're going to be reintroduced to a so-called ratio table. Remember those from chapter 2? We used them in a geometry chapter here. Now we're actually going to use it in a more abstract way. We're going to use it to solve equations. Remember how we could calculate x in a case like this. Remember that we can use cross multiplication here. I can say 5 times x equals 7 times 12. It's written right here. 5 times x equals 7 times 12. Or I can say x equals 84 divided by 5. Divide left and right by 5. I find 16/4/5, or 16.8 you can say. You can also do it in one go. The chapter 2 also showed you how to do it in one go, right? Do this times this and divide it by 5. And that's also a way to find x. And we're going to use this to actually solve some rational equations. We're going to use cross multiplication for that. Remember the ratio table, 3 times 30 equals 18 times 5. It corresponds also to equal fractions. 3/5 is the same as 18/30, right? Because this thing becomes 6 times as big and this time as well. And using cross multiplication, you can find that. You get that 3 times 30 equals 5 times 18. In general, A divided by B equals C divided by D implies that AD equals BC. Just cross multiplication. This times this equals this times this. But now we're going to use it not in a table form, we're going to use to solve rational equations. Gebroken vergelijkingen. Je kunt zeggen vergelijkingen met breuken erin. En dan in zo'n geval dat de x ook in een breuk staat. Here, 5 divided by x plus 3 equals 2/3. Let's take a look at how we can do this. Write it down and now just use cross multiplication, because you can say that this is a ratio. This divided by this is equal to this divided by this. If this was in the table form, I would say 2 times x plus 3 must be equal to 5 times 3. And that's how I get rid of my fractions here very quickly. Multiply out the brackets. Please do remember the brackets, by the way. This 2 is being multiplied by the whole thing, x plus 3. So that's why there has to be brackets here, otherwise they only multiply it with x and not with 3. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 3 is 6, equals 15. And this part is logical, it's solving in a linear equation. Okay, let's practice. Before we're going to practice a few more things, let's see what they have to say as well. An irrational equation is an equation in which the variable x occurs in the denominator. Dus x zit in de noemer. When solving 18 divided by 2x plus 6, remember that I can use this very nice trick that I can write 9 as a fraction by just dividing it by 1. You can write any number as a fraction by dividing it by 1. And then you can see that I have to do 9 times 2x plus 6 and 18 times 1. Yeah, okay, 18 times 1. That's 18. If I have something like this, now I first want to get rid of this minus 2 on the left hand side by doing plus 2. Right, so I get 20 divided by 3x minus 1 equals 8. And then you continue down roads. Let's practice. 15 divided by 9 minus 3x equals 2/5. The most difficult part here, or the new part you can say, is using those cross multiplications. Here, 2 times 9 minus 3x equals 15 times 5. And I think from here on out, multiplying out the brackets correctly, you get 2 times 9 equals 18, and 2 times minus 3x is minus 6x is doable. This equals 75. Continue down the road and you find x equals minus 9.5. Again, the last part, evaluate that for yourself, please. Here, exactly the same. Do you really think something changes when there is also an x in the numerator? Not really. The only thing what I do have to remember is if I have this 3, you should first rewrite it as 3 divided by 1, which means I'm going to first write it like this, and now do 3 times this thing, and this thing times 1 gives me this equation. Right, that's the new part. And now the part you should be able to do already, 3 times 2x, 3 times minus 1, you get this part. Get everything that contains an x2 here, get rid of the minus 3 here by doing plus 3 on both sides, and you find x equals 2. And remember, if you have something like this, first get rid of this minus 2 here. How do I get rid of this minus 2? Plus 2 on both sides. Right, so you find 8, and then immediately in this step divided by 1, because remember 8 divided by 1 is still 8. And now cross multiplication, this times this equals this times this. And then this is immediately 20. This is 24x minus 8. And then you're able to solve again. Right? So this is how something that we first taken a look at actual geometry chapter can also be used in something quite abstract, something quite algebraic as solving actual equations. The glossary contains words from theory A, the inversely proportional thing, and the rational equation. I see that I didn't include the hyperbola, which of course is also a new glossary word. I'm going to include that later on. Remember, hyperbola means hyperbole. Okay, good luck with solving your equations, and I'll see you in the next video.